What's up, guys? It is your girl Carlie B, and I am back. And okay, so I know everybody has had to have heard about the Idaho 4, okay, and Brian Kohberger, the suspect, arrested. And I just found his affidavits on online, and we're gonna go over them because there's information in here which obviously they haven't released, because I don't guess they could until after he was brought back to Idaho or whatever. Now that he's back at Idaho, they're releasing all this information. It's kind of long though, so should we read all of it or skim through it? So let's just see what it says, because I've not even read it. I just know, like, I was scrolling up and I seen there was multiple pages. So let's see. It says the below information is provided by Brett Payne, who is a duly appointed, qualified, and acting peace officer within the county of Latah, state of Idaho. Brett Payne, excuse me. Brett Payne is employed by Moscow Police Department in the official capacity or position of corporal, and has been a trained and qualified peace officer for approximately 4 years. Corporal Payne is being assisted by members of the Idaho State Police, and agents of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, so the FBI. On November 13, 2022, at approximately 4 p.m., Moscow Police Department Sergeant Blaker and I responded to 1122 King Road, the King Road residents, to assist with scene security and processing a crime scene associated with 4 homicides. Upon our arrival, the Idaho State Police forensic team was on scene and was preparing to begin processing the scene. Officer Smith, one of the initial responding officers to the incident, advised he would walk me through the scene. Officer Smith and I entered the King Road residence through the bottom floor on the north side of the building. Officer Smith and I then walked upstairs to the second floor. Officer Smith directed me down the hallway to the west bedroom, which I learned later was Xana Kernodle's hereafter Kernodle room. Just before this room, there was a bathroom door on the south wall of the hallway. As I approached the room, I could see a body, later identified as Kernodle's, laying on the floor. Kernodle was deceased with wounds which appeared to have been caused by an edged weapon. Also in the room was a male, later identified as Ethan. Ethan was also deceased with wounds later determined by the autopsy reporter to be caused by sharp force injuries. I then followed Officer Smith upstairs to the third floor of the residence. The third floor consisted of 2 bedrooms and 1 bathroom. The third bedroom on the west side of the floor was later determined to be Carlie Gonzalez. I can't say her last name. I later learned from review of Officer Nunn's body camera, there was a dog in the room when Moscow police officers initially responded. The dog belonged to Carlie and her ex-boyfriend Jack Decor. I found out from my interview with Jack on November 13th, 2022 that he and Carlie shared the dog. Officer Smith then pointed out a small bathroom on the east side of the third floor. This bathroom shared a wall with Madison's bedroom, which was situated on the southeast corner of the third floor. As I entered this bedroom, I could see 2 females in the single bed in the room. Both Carlie and Madison were deceased with visible stab wounds. I also later noticed what appeared to be a tan leather knife sheath laying on the bed next to Morgan's. See, I was wondering what that was. Oh, wow. Okay, sorry. I also later noticed what appeared to be a tan leather knife sheath laying on the bed next to Madison's right side when viewed from the door. The sheath was later processed and had Kohberger, USMC, and the United States Marine Corps Eagle Globe and Anchor insignia shaped on the outside of it. The Idaho State Lab later located a single source of male DNA, left on the button snap of the knife sheath. That is wild. For him to almost have his PhD in criminology and he left that's crazy. It's kind of like he wanted to get caught. But not just that. The fact that I was wondering what kind of evidence they had against him. And you guys, that is such big news. Like that, I cannot wait to tell my boyfriend about this. As part of the investigation, numerous interviews were conducted by Moscow Police Department, the Idaho State Police detectives, and FBI agents. 2 of the interviews included BF and DM. Both BF and DM were inside the King Road residence at the time of the homicides and were roommates to the victims. BF's bedroom was located on the east side of the first floor of the King Road residence. Based on numerous interviews conducted by Moscow Police Department officers, Idaho State Police detectives, and FBI agents, as well as my review of evidence, I have learned the following. On the evening of November 12, 2022, Chapin and Kernodle are seen by BF at the Sigma Chi house on the University of Idaho campus at 735 Nez Pierce Drive from approximately 9 p.m. until November 12th to 1:45 a.m. on November 13th. BF has also estimated that at approximately 1:45 a.m., Chapin and Kernodle returned to the King Road residence. BF also stated that Chapin did not live in the King Road residence, but was a guest of Kernodle. So, okay, Kaylee and Madison were at a local bar, the Corner Club at 202 North Main Street in Moscow. They have their last names, so it's hard for me to pronounce her last name. So I'm trying to say their first names, but it's confusing me reading that. Kaylee and Madison can be seen on video footage provided by the Corner Club between 10 p.m. on November 12th and 1:30 a.m. on November 13th. At approximately 1:30 a.m., Kaylee and Madison can be seen on video at a local food vendor called The Grub Truck at 318 South Main Street in downtown Moscow. The Grub Truck live streams videos from their food truck on the streaming platform Twitch, which is available for public viewing on their website. This video was captured by law enforcement. A private party, and it has it like marked out, reported that he provided a ride to Kaylee and Madison at approximately 1:56 a.m. from downtown Moscow in front of the Grub Truck to the King Road residence. DM and BF both made statements during interviews that indicated the occupants of the King Road residence were home by 2 a.m. and asleep or at least in their rooms by approximately 4 a.m. This is with the exception of Kernodle, who received a DoorDash order at the residence at approximately 4 a.m. Law enforcement identified the DoorDash delivery driver who reported this information. DM stated she originally went to sleep in her bedroom on the southeast side of the second floor. DM stated she was awoken at approximately 4 a.m. by what she stated sounded like Kaylee playing with her dog in one of the upstairs bedrooms, which were located on the 3rd floor. A short time later, DM said she heard who she thought was Kaylee say something to the effect of, "There's someone here." A review of records obtained from a forensic download of Kernodle's phone showed this could also have been Kernodle, as her cellular phone indicated she was likely awake and using the TikTok app at approximately 4:12 a.m. DM stated she looked out of her bedroom but did not see anything when she heard the comment about someone being in the house. DM stated she opened her door a second time when she heard what she thought was crying from Kernodle's room. Oh, wow, man. This is heartbreaking. To actually... Oh, man. DM then said she heard a male voice say something to the effect of, "It's okay, I'm going to help you." I thought they were asleep, though. I thought they said the roommates down there were asleep and didn't hear nothing. So they must have just been saying that to not give away the evidence that they did have. At approximately 4:17 a.m., a security camera located at 1112 King Road, a residence immediately to the northwest of 1122 King Road, picked up distorted audio of what sounded like voices or a whimper followed by a loud thud. Oh, man. A dog can also be heard barking numerous times starting at 4:17 a.m. The security camera is less than 50 feet from the west wall of Kernodle's bedroom. DM stated she opened the door for the 3rd time after she heard the crying and saw a figure clad in black clothing and a mask that covered the person's mouth and nose walking towards her. DM described the figure as 5'10" or taller. Male, not very muscular, but athletically built with bushy eyebrows. The male walked past DM as she stood in a frozen shock face. The male walked towards the back sliding glass door. DM locked herself in her room after seeing the male. DM did not state that she recognized the male. This leads investigators to believe that the murderer left the scene. So did he not see her, or he just walked past her? I'm wondering. The combination of DM's statements to law enforcement, reviews of forensic downloads of records from BF and DM's phones, and a video of a suspect video, as described below, leads investigators to believe the homicides occurred between 4 a.m. and 4:25 a.m. During the processing of the crime scene, investigators found a latent shoe print. This was located during the second processing of the crime scene by the ISP forensic team by first using a presumptive blood test and then amino black, a protein stain that detects the presence of cellular material. The detective shoe print showed a diamond-shaped pattern similar to the pattern of a Vans type style shoe. So, just outside of the door of DM's bedroom, located on second floor. This is consistent with DM's statement regarding the suspect's path of travel. As part of the investigation, an extensive search, commonly referred to in law enforcement as a video canvass, was conducted in the area of the King Road residence. This video canvass was to obtain any footage from the early morning hours of November 13th in the area of the King Road residence and surrounding neighborhoods in an effort to locate the suspect or suspect's vehicle traveling or leaving from the King Road residence. This video canvass resulted in the collection of numerous surveillance videos in the area from both residential and business addresses. I have reviewed numerous videos that were collected and have had conversations with the MPD officers, ISP detectives, and FBI agents that are similarly reviewing footage that was obtained. A review of camera footage indicated that a white sedan, hereafter suspect vehicle 1, was observed traveling westbound in the 700 block of Indiana Hills Drive in Moscow at approximately 3:26 a.m. and westbound on Steiner Avenue, Idaho State Highway 95 in Moscow at approximately 3:28. On this video, it appeared suspect vehicle 1 was not displaying a front license plate. A review footage from multiple videos obtained at the King Road residence neighborhood showed multiple sightings of suspect vehicle 1 starting at 3:29 and ending at 4:20. These sightings show suspect vehicle 1 makes an initial 3 passes by the 1122 King Road residence and then leaves via Walenta Drive. Based off of my experience as a patrol officer, this is a residential neighborhood with a very limited number of vehicles that travel in the area during the early morning hours. On review of the video, there are only a few cars that enter and exit this area during this time frame. Suspect vehicle 1 can be seen entering the area a fourth time, approximately 4:04 a.m. It can be seen driving eastbound on King Road, stopping and turning around in front of 500 Queen Road, number 52, and then driving back westbound on King Road. When suspect vehicle 1 is in front of the King Road residence, it appeared to unsuccessfully attempt to park and turn around in the road. The vehicle then continued to the intersection of Queen Road and King Road, where it can be seen completing a 3-point turn and then driving eastbound again down Queen Road. Suspect vehicle 1 is next seen departing the area of the King Road residence at approximately 4:20 a.m. at a high rate of speed. Suspect vehicle 1 is next observed traveling southbound on Walenta Drive. Based on my knowledge of the area and review of camera footage in the neighborhood, that does not show suspect vehicle 1 during that time frame. I believe that suspect vehicle 1 likely exited the neighborhood at Palouse River Drive and Conestoga? I don't know. Palouse River Drive is the southern edge of Moscow and proceeds into Whitman County, Washington. Eventually, the road leads to Pullman, Washington. Pullman, Washington is approximately 10 miles from Moscow, Idaho. Both Pullman and Moscow are small college towns and people commonly travel back and forth between them. Law enforcement officers provided video footage of suspect vehicle 1 to forensic examiners with the Federal Bureau of Investigation that regularly utilize surveillance footage to identify the year, make, and model of an unknown vehicle that is observed by one or more cameras during the commission of a criminal offense. The forensic examiner has approximately 35 years law enforcement experience with 12 years at the FBI. His specific training includes identifying unique characteristics of vehicles, and he uses a database that gives visual clues of vehicles across states to identify differences between vehicles. After reviewing the numerous observations of suspect vehicle 1, the forensic examiner initially believed that suspect vehicle 1 was between a 2011 and 2013 Hyundai Elantra. Upon further review, he indicated it could also be between a 2011 and 2016 Hyundai Elantra. As a result, investigators have been reviewing information on persons and possessions of vehicles of that make and model. Investigators were giving access to video footage at the Washington State University campus located in Pullman, Washington. A review of that video indicated that at approximately 2:44 a.m. on November 13th, a white sedan, which was consistent with the description of the white Elantra known as Suspect Vehicle 1, was observed on WSU surveillance cameras traveling north on Southeast Nevada Street at Northeast Stadium Way. At approximately 2:53 a.m., a white sedan which is consistent with the description of the white Elantra known as Suspect Vehicle 1, was observed traveling southeast on Nevada Street in Pullman, Washington, towards SR-270. SR-270 connects Pullman, Washington to Moscow. This camera footage from Pullman, Washington was provided to the same FBI forensic examiner. The forensic examiner identified the vehicle observed in Pullman, Washington as being a between 2014 and 2016 Elantra. At approximately 5:25 a.m., a white sedan, which was consistent with the description of Suspect Vehicle 1, was observed on 5 cameras in Washington and the Washington campus. The first camera that recorded the white sedan, located at 1300 Johnson Road in Pullman, the white sedan was observed traveling northbound on Johnson Road. Johnson Road leads directly back to the West Palouse River Drive in Moscow, which intersects with, I can't say that word, drive. The white sedan was then observed turning north on Bishop Boulevard and northwest on SR-22 at approximately 5:27 a.m. The white Elantra was observed on cameras traveling northbound on Stadium Way at Nevada Street, Stadium Way at Grimsway, Stadium Drive at Wilson Road, and Stadium Way at Cougar Way. I guess that would be screenshots of a video. Description showing white path of travel. Oh, that's a map. I just can't see it. It's like, I don't know. I can't see it that good. Okay. So, on November 25th, 2022, Moscow Police Department asked area law enforcement agencies to be on the lookout for a white Elantra in the area. On November 29th, at approximately 12:28 a.m., Washington State University police officer Daniel Tanigo, I don't know, white Elantra is registered at WSU. As a result of the query, he located a 2015 white Elantra with a Pennsylvania license plate LFZ-8649. This vehicle was registered to Brian Kohberger. Hereafter, Kohberger residing at blah blah blah, they got it redacted. It's approximately 3/4 of a mile from the intersection of Stadium Way and Cougar Way. Last camera location that picked up the white Elantra. The same day at approximately 12:58 a.m., Washington State University officer Curtis Whitman was looking for a white Elantra and located the 2015 white Elantra at redacted in Pullman in the parking lot. Redacted, an apartment complex that houses Washington University students. Officer Whitman also ran the car and it returned to Kohberger with a Washington tag. So they have evidence against his ass. They do. Okay, let me see. I reviewed Kohberger's Washington State driver's license information and photograph. This license indicates that Kohberger is a white male with a height of 6 foot and weighs 185 pounds. Additionally, the photograph of Kohberger shows that he has bushy eyebrows. Kohberger's physical description is consistent with the description of the male DM saw inside the King Road residence on November 13th. Further investigation, including a review of Latah County Sheriff's Deputy Corporal Duke's body cam reports, show that on August 21st, Brian Kohberger was detained as part of a traffic stop that occurred in Moscow by Corporal Duke. At the time, Kohberger, who was the sole occupant, was driving a white Elantra with Pennsylvania plates, which was set to expire on November 30th. During the stop, which was recorded via a law enforcement body camera, Kohberger provided his phone number as redacted 8458. Hereafter, the 8458 phone as his cell phone number. Investigators conducted electronic database queries and learned that the 8458 phone number is issued by AT&T. On October 14th, Brian Kohberger was detained as a part of a traffic stop by a Washington State University police officer. Upon review of that body cam and report of the stop, Kohberger was the sole occupant and was driving a white Elantra with the same Pennsylvania plates. This is a lot. Okay. On November 18th, according to Washington State licensing, Kohberger registered the 2015 white Elantra with Washington and later received Washington plate CFB 8708. Prior to this time, the 2015 Elantra was registered in Pennsylvania, which does not require a front license plate to be displayed. This was learned through communications with a Pennsylvania officer who is currently certified in the state of Pennsylvania. Based on my own experience and communication with Washington law enforcement, I know that Idaho and Washington require front and back license plates to be displayed. Alright. Investigators believe that Kohberger is still driving the 2015 Elantra because his vehicle was captured on December 13th, 2022 by a license plate reader in Loma, Colorado. Kohberger's Elantra was then acquired on December 15th by law enforcement in Hancock County, Indiana on December 16th at approximately 2:26 p.m. Surveillance video showed Kohberger's Elantra in Albrightsville, Pennsylvania. The sole occupant of the vehicle was a white male whose description was consistent with Kohberger. Kohberger has family in Pennsylvania. Based on the information provided on the Washington State University website, Kohberger is currently a PhD student in criminology at Washington State University. Pursuant to records provided by a member of the interview panel of Pullman Police Department, we learned that Kohberger's past education included undergraduate degrees in psychology and cloud-based forensics. These records are also showed Kohberger wrote an essay when he applied for an internship with the Pullman Police Department in fall of 2022. Wow. Kohberger wrote in his essay he had interest in assisting rural law enforcement agencies with how to better collect and analyze technological data. I don't know why. I don't know why right now I can't say that word. Okay, anyways. Kohberger also posted a Reddit survey which can be found by an open source internet search. The survey asks for participants to provide information to understand how emotions and psychological traits influence decision making when committing a crime. As part of this investigation, law enforcement obtained search warrants to determine cellular devices that utilize cellular towers in close proximity to the King Road residence on November 13th between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. After determining that Kohberger was associated to both the 2015 Elantra and 8458 phone, investigators reviewed the search warrant returns. A query of the 8458 phone in these returns did not show the 8458 phone utilizing cellular tower resources in close proximity to the King Road between those times. Based on my training experience and conversations with law enforcement officers that specialize in the utilization of cellular telephone records as part of an investigation, individuals can either leave their cellular phone at a different location before committing a crime or turn their cellular phone off prior to going to the location to commit the crime. This is done by subjects in an effort to avoid alerting law enforcement that a cellular device associated with them was in the particular area when the crime was committed. I also know that on numerous occasions, subjects will surveil an area where they intend to commit a crime prior to the date of the crime. Depending on the circumstances, this could be done a few days before or several months prior to the commission of a crime. During these types of surveillance, it is possible that an individual would not leave their cellular cell phone at a separate location or turn it off since they do not plan on committing the crime that particular day. On December 23rd, I applied for and was granted a search warrant for historical phone records between November 12th at 12 a.m. and November 14th at 12 a.m. for the 8458 phone held by the phone provider AT&T. On December 23rd, pursuant to the search warrant, I received records for that phone number from AT&T. These records indicated that that phone is subscribed to Brian Kohberger at an address in Pennsylvania, and the account has been open since June 23rd, 2022. These records also included historical cell site location information. After receiving this information, I consulted with an FBI agent that is certified as a member of the Cellular Analyst Survey Team. Members of CAST are certified with the FBI to provide expert testimony in the field of historical and are required to pass extensive training that includes both written and practical examinations prior to be certified with CAST, as well as the completion of yearly certification requirements. Additionally, the FBI CAST essay that I consulted with has over 15 years of federal law enforcement experience, which includes 6 years with the FBI. From information provided by CAST, I was able to determine estimated locations for the phone number for November 12th and November 13th, the time period authorized by the court. On November 13th at approximately 2:42, the phone was utilizing cellular resources that provided coverage to 1630 Northeast Valley Road, apartment G201, Pullman, Washington. Hereafter, the Kohberger residence, at approximately 2:47, the phone utilized cellular sources that would cover southeast of the Kohberger's residence, consistent with the phone leaving the Kohberger residence and traveling south through Pullman, Washington. This is consistent with the movement of the white launcher. At approximately 2:47 a.m., the phone stops reporting to the network, which is consistent with either the phone being in an area without cellular coverage, so the connection to the network is disabled, or that phone is turned off. The phone does not report to the network again until approximately 4:48, at which time it utilized cellular resources that provided coverage to Idaho State Highway 95 south of Moscow. Between 4:50 and 5:26, the phone utilizes cellular resources that are consistent with the 8458 phone traveling south on Idaho State Highway 95, then traveling west towards Uniontown, Idaho, and then back to Pullman, Washington. At approximately 5:38, the phone is utilizing resources to provide coverage in Washington and consistent with the phone traveling back to the Kohberger residence. The phone's movements are consistent with the movements of the white launcher that is observed traveling north on the Stadium Drive at approximately 5:27 a.m. Based on the review of the phone's estimated location and travel, the phone travel is consistent with that of the white launcher. Further review indicated that the phone utilized cellular resources on November 13th that are consistent with the phone leaving the area of Kohberger's residence at approximately 9 a.m. and traveling to Moscow. Specifically, the phone utilized cellular resources that would provide coverage to the King Road residence between 9:12 a.m. and 9:21 a.m. The phone utilized cellular resources that are consistent with the phone traveling back to the area of Kohberger residence and arriving to the area at approximately 9:32 a.m. Below is a description, not to scale, of the possible route taken based off of cellular location. So, on December 23rd, I was granted a search warrant for Kohberger's historical CSLI from June 23rd to current. Prospective location information and a PIN register / trap and trace on the phone to aid in efforts to determine if Kohberger stalked any of the victims in this case prior to the offense. Conducted surveillance on the King Road residence, was in contact with any of the victims' associates before or after the alleged offense. Any locations that may contain evidence of the murders that occurred on November 13th. On December 23rd, pursuant to the search warrant, I received historical records for that phone from AT&T from the time the account was opened. After consulting with Cast SA, I was able to determine estimated locations for the phone from June 22nd to present, the time period authorized by the court. The records for the phone show that the phone utilizing cellular resources that provide coverage to the area of King Road on at least 12 occasions prior to November 13th. So he was stalking her. All these occasions, except for one, occurred in the late evening and early morning hours of their respective days. He was her stalker. He was. One of these occasions, on August 21st, the phone utilized cellular resources providing coverage to the King Road residence from approximately 10:34 a.m. to 11:35 p.m. At approximately 11:37 p.m., Kohberger was stopped by Latah County Sheriff's Deputy Corporal Duke, as mentioned above. The phone was utilizing cellular resources consistent with the location of the traffic stop during this time. Further analysis of the cellular data provided showed the phone utilized cellular resources on November 13th consistent with the phone traveling from Pullman, Washington to Lewiston, Idaho via Highway 195. At approximately 12:36 p.m., the phone utilized cellular resources that would provide coverage to Kate's Cup of Joe Coffee and located at 810 Port Drive in Washington. Surveillance video from U.S. Chef store located at 820 Port Drive in Washington and adjacent to Kate's Cup of Joe showed a white launcher consistent with suspect vehicle 1 drive past Kate's Cup of Joe at the time, consistent with the cellular data. So they've got a shit ton of evidence on this man. He's getting the death penalty. Watch. He will get what he deserves. Mind you, let me go ahead and say this. This is alleged. I am reading you guys a document that I found online. Okay? You guys can see it. I'm just reading something. This is alleged. I am not making this stuff up. We're almost done. Okay. Additional analysis of records from the phone indicated that between approximately 5:32 p.m. and 5:36 p.m., the phone utilized cellular resources that provide coverage to Johnson, Idaho. The phone then stops recording to the network from approximately 5:36 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. That is consistent with the phone being the area that the phone traveled in the hours immediately following the suspected time the homicides occurred. On December 27th, Pennsylvania agents recovered the trash from the Kohberger family residence located in Pennsylvania. That evidence was sent to the Idaho State Lab for testing on December 28th. The Idaho State Lab reported that a DNA profile obtained from the trash and the DNA profile obtained from the sheets identified as a male not being excluded as the biological father of suspect profile. At least 99.9998% of the male population would be expected to be excluded from the possibility of being the suspect's biological father. Based on the information, I'm requesting an arrest warrant to be issued for Brian C. Kohberger, date of birth 11/21/94, for burglary at 1122 King Street, Moscow, Idaho, and 4 counts of murder in the first degree for the murders of Madison, Kaylee, Xana, and Ethan. Guys, that is such big news. Do you hear me? That is such big news. Like, I had no clue. Like, I was wondering, like, what evidence do they have? And I've not seen nobody, like, I've even been watching YouTube videos and everything, and I've not seen nobody actually go over the whole thing. So whenever I found it, I was like, oh, I've got to share it with you guys. So let me know what you guys think, because this video is already over 30 minutes long, so I'm sorry that it is so long, but I had to just go ahead and read it all as much and as fast as possible. So if I went too fast, I'm sorry, but I am going to put this up on the screen so that way you guys can see it and read it and pause it and slow it down if you guys can't understand whatever I was saying. So, thank you to all my day one supporters, because my channel just keeps growing and I really greatly appreciate it. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think below, and if you guys think he's guilty or if you guys think he will get the death penalty, because I'm curious. I think he's guilty, and I think he will get the penalty. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think, and I will get at y'all in the next one.